sort of like that whole like
Right.
doo-wop hand motion.
I'm a
Everybody's
permanent back row singer.
right.
Maybe
We
that's
would.
what we should volunteer to do for karaoke. You and I can just be the backup singers.
Here's the thing: if you and I could be the Pips to anybody else,
Anybody's Gladys. We're in.
Anybody else, we can't be Gladys. No one.
But we will be your permanent Pips.
No one can be Gladys. I want to be clear about that.
Not even Gladys.
I mean, Gladys is, come on, killing it, Gladys Knight. Come on.
Killing the game.
Good morning. You look
great. I mean, we've got a little lag. There's a little something going on. Not sure what that is. But why are we still on Restream? Did you not give Jamie the credit card? I thought we had this discussion.
We had this discussion. Jamie is actually non-compliant from an employee perspective, so he does whatever he wants to do.
Give me the credit. I'll show you what to do.
Let me be super clear. No, ain't happening. Look at him. He's just flipping my image back and forth. This is what I'm telling you. Everybody thinks it's all fun and games at Humoriso. It's torture.
Speaking of torture, I'm at my childhood home today.
Lots of trauma.
Lots of trauma. Trauma signals everywhere. Everywhere. Starting with lima beans. Why did my dad have a lima bean? Did you say lima beans?
Cans of lima beans, navy beans, butter beans. What's he doing?
He liked the legume. What are we going to do?
Joe, good morning. We're so glad you're here. I am obsessed that do you see what he just put? I'm so excited.
Yes. Jamie.
Joe, we need to make this happen. Joe, I want to get out of here. I mean, Joe, see what you've done? He hates it but loves it at the same time. That's the problem. I know.
Yes.
That is
he
the
wants
problem.
to be behind the screens in front of the camera.
So you're at your childhood home and all is well?
All is well. Yeah. Lauren is out of town, my sister. So I'm staying with Dad. Todd is here. But let me tell you, we had to put sweet baby TJ, the future president of the United States. He's infinitely more qualified. Infinitely more qualified today.
I don't care what today. Either side of the aisle. Yeah. Either side.
Yeah. And, he's very moderate, so probably right in the middle. He was really responsible for babysitting my girlfriend's dog and doing the poop scoops this morning. I mean, how do you do that? We're leaving. You have to go to work. And can you also do our jobs and take care of our friends' dogs? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No pressure.
And he did it well?
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
Did. Yeah, she went on instantly and posted a review on Nextdoor.
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. It was just like, we're panicked. I'm like, oh my God. Like, why is he going to wake up at 7:00 to pick up dog poop? Nobody's elated or excited.
Jamie is telling me I have to.
Oh, listen.
I literally tell him, I'm like, you have to change internet. And then he just drops off the call. It's totally rude. He doesn't say bye to anybody.
That means as our producer.
Say bye.
I followed. This is the problem.
You have to say bye to people before
I'm not saying goodbye. What am I saying? I'm coming right back. I'm like a vision.
Like, panic.
How do I say? I mean, I got it. Okay, bye, Jamie. So I mean, I don't know if this is any better. This is my only other choice for internet that I picked. So I'm coming to you.
Tell everybody where you are.
Yes, I'm coming to you live from ERIN headquarters, ERIN, ERIN headquarters in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So
I've got my Pumas on just to celebrate. Lovely. I can't do that anymore.
What?
It'll be
I
painful.
now have pulled both glutes doing that.
That's right.
Ow, ow, ow.
So tell everybody what you're doing at ERIN.
So it is board meeting day. And so I am a part of the board discussions. And so I was like, I gotta leave. I have this show I do. I'll be back. I'll be back in an hour. They were like, what? Just a show. It's all
Just
right.
go with it. It's very important.
And Mike is like, it's good. It's a good show. Let him go
But
do
y'all
this.
should watch it. Well, we're not at home, so I got 7 Brew this morning. I don't know. Have you ever had it?
I've seen it. I don't think I've ever had it though.
It's delicious.
Yeah. So what? Like, is it a chain?
Yeah, it's a chain.
That's better. Oh, Jamie flipped you so that we could see it. Yes.
No, I did it all by myself. I actually learned how to do it.
I had coffee. I don't think this is how you know it's mom and pop.
When they have no label?
Nothing, not on the sleeves, not on the anything. And don't ask me where I went. Coffee
Galore.
Coffee Village. I think it's called Coffee Village.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I went, I promise. Anyway, I love supporting local. I mean, I passed all of like the Dunkins and Einstein and
Yes.
Starbucks and Brugger's and all, but I did, I like to support local, the Coffee Village. I was right. The Coffee Village.
You know, that's a lame name. I will tell you, if anybody who watched The Amazing Race, you know, I was on The Amazing Race, and really coming out of that, my best friend on it is named Mark. Yes.
George, good morning.
Can't do much about that.
Their software is wonderful. Don't judge them on the Wi-Fi.
It could have been better if they had better Wi-Fi. This is all they could produce. His name is Mark. He has a twin brother named Donald. And I was like, those are the lamest twin names I've ever.
They're probably family names, right?
Mark Anthony, yeah, is really like Mark Anthony and Donald like James or something like that. Like, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I'm John Andrew and my dad was John Andrew, and everybody when they see the A, they're always like, "Oh, Anthony, is that your middle name?"
I would have called you Anthony.
Right, and it makes sense. Andrew was my dad. Here's a story. I don't think I've shared this before. My dad's godfather, his middle name was Andrew, and that's why they picked Andrew for my dad. And my dad's godfather is a Grimaldi, and that family is the family that's connected to Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier in Monaco. Yeah. So, because Grace, her family's from Philadelphia. Grace,
you and Gracie.
and Jack Kelly, her brother. Ooh, sad. Jack was jogging on West River Drive and had a heart attack. That's how he died. I mean, it's just
that's horrible.
Horrible. Lots of tragedy in that family. Lots of tragedy.
Speaking of tragedy, I got a book called Diva this week about Marie Callas. And it's called Diva because it's a novel. Even though it's telling the story.
She is the first diva, really.
Girl, when you look her up, go look at an old clip, and that it's somebody's playbook. Diva to the end.
I'm serious. Like, people don't appreciate that, which is why, like, the Mariah Carey. Let me
got nothing on Marie Callas.
Her mother, opera singer as well.
That's right. That's why they learn.
That's how they learn. It's the truth.
Because,
first of all, Joe, I'm going to take your comment as talking about me, John, and then I'm hot, and even though John is an average name, so don't comment anything else. Let me believe that's what you mean.
I'll tell you also, other fun fact. My dad's name is Greg Forster, and he has no middle name, but they always ask for your middle initial.
Yeah.
And one time he put no M-I, no N-O-M-I, no middle initial, because he worked for IBM, and you know, it was one of those where they wouldn't let you have a blank for years. Greg Nomi Forster.
So does it show if you do a credit check? I bet you that's one of his aliases.
One of his aliases is Nomi. Greg Nomi.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love that. My mom and my mom and her younger sister, their middle names are each other's first names, and but that's their confirmation name. They weren't given a middle name when they were born. When
Just
they
the
were
confirmation name, so not
Yes.
on the birth certificate.
Yes. Yeah. And but because they've used it for years, like it's on everything now, right? So it's like pseudo legally, that's what their middle initial is, even though it's not really on the birth certificate.
That is hilarious. See
Yeah.
why we need a topic? Look at us. We could go for days.
For days. And this is all in connection to how you build strong HR teams. I don't see why people wouldn't understand that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Clearly.
I will tell you, if you want to take a sneak peek, because I'm not done, I've been gone, we've been traveling. And so I'll tell you, last week I was in Santa Barbara doing LinkedIn Learning.
Yes, not the old soap opera. You
It
were
felt just like it though. I started acting like it. I went down Ventura Highway. I took the 101. And then
like this the whole way driving.
I was like, yeah, I got some chowder. I had some nice sourdough, as one does when they're in California. And the week before that, I was in Miami getting ready for more, like my video, like doing a speaker reel. And I'm working on a new JackieClayton.com. It's already up. The secret is don't tell, but it's already up. The new Jackye Clayton.
But everybody should there's a teaser about pictures, but you have to register with a credit card in order to see the full picture.
I think we're calling it only feet. But only foot, because I got that one bad nail on that one.
That's right. I only show
the right one. I can only do the left one. Thank you, Joe. I was in Carpinteria and Santa Barbara. You're laughing because you do know about the right.
I know the fact that you said
toenail.
I'm only foot. Not
I'm only foot.
I'm only foot. Oh my gosh.
Why I walk like that?
I see. Now let me tell you something.
All right.
Seriously, on this topic, one of the things that I kept thinking about in terms of building teams that partner with the business, and this that I kept thinking about, economically right now, there's a lot of tension. Politically right now, there's a lot of tension. The marketplace is feeling the stress of that. The one thing that I kept coming back to when I was thinking about us chatting this morning is humor. Because there's such a deficit of laughter, of humor, because everything
feels so serious.
Feels so serious and so heavy. Absolutely. Right. And I think there's a way in which not silly. And I know we love our millions of fans and the silliness and fun that we have here. I get that. Yeah. But I don't think I'm saying HR to be silly, but I think there's ways in which we remember relationally to laugh, to introduce humor, and help people to remember that they're people. I know there's a lot of stress, but we've got to take a breath.
But yes, we have to take a breath, but we've been fighting for years to get organizations to take HR seriously as a business partner. Yeah. And it's ironic that we call HR business partners and so many feel so disconnected from the business, right?
100%.
We're all like mini therapists. If you treat your HR business partner like your therapist, you need to give them a copay, just to be fair.
Well, and that in some organizations, I mean, look, y'all, if you're ready to hire, Humoriso and Jackye Clayton, let's do it, because there are too many organizations that have this sort of career progression, and HR business partner becomes like a titled advancement, but they're not really business partners.
No.
No. They're still doing benefits administration, and I'm not making fun of any of that. I just mean, they're helping to process payroll, and I'm like, that's not what a business partner is really supposed to be doing.
Well, that's what's interesting. A friend of mine called me because they have an open role. She's a HR business partner, and they have a VP of talent management role that this person will do. And I was like, talk to me about why they need a vice president of talent management if they already have HR business partners. Like, what part do you play, and what does this why do you need someone to oversee business partners to make sure that you're implementing not trying to be funny, like no harm, no foul.
No.
Just really wanting to know, because who came up with that title? Who came up with that's what they needed for the organization? And I think what's been interesting, and I talked to Jeremy last week and looking at other people at Lubbock, people really working on a project basis in order to serve the business rather than, you're seeing people that are like, I need AI solutions. I need, this, we're trying to streamline and get things automated, but it's not necessarily permanent. And how can we automate, have the tools are speaking to each other? I mean, we're seeing a lot of change, a lot of new roles, and a lot of new expectations, because current existing teams, as they've been traditionally structured, are not able to keep up. It's just moving too fast.
And we do not the best job of upskilling, which I know we're sick of that word, but it's the truth. We don't do a great job of upskilling some of the people who have been in our department.
Skilling. You want to skill them up? That's assuming that a skill is there.
And I had the privilege of chatting about. I know you and I have been like on the road, right? And by the way, we love y'all so much. Thank you for being gracious to us the past 2 weeks as we've traveled a bunch, and it was for those who are of a certain age, it was reruns the past 2 weeks, right? Like
my brother asked if it was reruns again. Are y'all doing reruns again?
I mean, I love your brother, but so thank you for being patient with us. But one of the things I was doing last week was I was in Indiana working with an organization on organizational design and development, and we had this conversation because it's a larger organization. We had this conversation around implied tenure and the health of a team takes a back seat to, well, so-and-so has been here for 10 years. And so therefore
they can't promote anybody, and they can't hire. That is the worst. They're like, oh, I had to give them a title because they've been here. So now they're like the director of whatever. And this person's the blah, blah, blah.
Yes. It's totally true.
Wild.
And it's and I want, by the way, I want street credit for this. It's implied tenure. That's my term.
That's right.
Nobody else. If you're going to use it, give me credit, please. Implied tenure happens in organizations. It's not just in promotion. We actually we do things like that even in our recognition programs. We look around, who's been here a while and hasn't gotten it. Employee of the month, and you're
like, who's up for employee of the month?
Like, that's the way you're supposed to determine this. And so if somebody gets promoted to HR business partner because Jackie's been here for 7 years and what are we going to do with her? We need to like give her a new title or promote her. Or she's going to leave. That can't be the reason but it happens all the time. But
you know why it happens? Because we got rid of, and I'm going to date myself, we got rid of the 5-year catalog. Remember when you were there for 5 years, you got the catalog. Yeah, exactly. You're watching Carol Burnett. You had the catalog.
This is a Wiggins.
Because then your expectation is when you were here for 5 years, you got a steak knives. And when you were here for 10 years, the couch, my mother, God bless her soul, was retired from Neiman Marcus. She had worked there for 25 years and she got a leather couch and love seat. Like, that's what she got for her 25 years. My father.
That's really nice.
That's really, really nice. My dad took a check option and got a full 20 place setting, all silverware, and gave it for my mother. That was my dad's 10-year gift. He didn't get promoted to the director of whatever, like whatever his title was at the time.
Yeah.
We used to, that's how we would award people instead of the assumption, as you said, with the tenure. Do you hear that? You've never heard that before. That's a phone ringing. I know.
He still has a wall phone?
Yes, he does.
I love him. After the show, please hug him and tell him it's from me. Just, I love him.
I will
Um, the fact that we have to justify to a person to say, I don't want to just promote you by title. I actually want you to be able to do that level of work. I think that's idealistic, and we know it, but it has to become functional. We're not going to build teams that are really helpful to the business, because the business will look at that and go, I'm not going to, John as a business partner. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
We all here, like us, just amongst us friends, agree that management is a separate skill and start looking for people with management experience, verifiable management experience.
Yes.
Not I should manage.
Yes.
Verifiable management experience.
And I'm going to go way out there. Lots of ats are coming.
Oh, well, yeah.
Verifiable means assessment oriented.
That's right.
Assess it.
Because some people come out of college with leadership capabilities.
There is a phenomenal organization that does, I wonder if I can find it real quick on LinkedIn, because I'm going to pull it up, that does really robust management training for college while people are in college. Everybody knows Saxby's, not Zaxby's.
The chicken, chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders is with a Z. This S is is for coffee, right?
Right.
Look at how they have their company listed, by the way. Do you see the category under Saxby's? Education. Yes. But they're a coffee shop.
What?
And yes, look into that. Look into them. We're in a mission to make life better by supporting and empowering the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. They come onto college campuses, set up their coffee shops. What you got? Go the other way. I know.
But look, I put Saxby's and it said Zaxby's. Same what I did.
I know. I'm serious. Everybody, if you really go on and follow some of them, to exactly your point, they are, and I'm connected with Nick, who's the CEO, and he's a great guy. He has put together this premise to say students at the collegiate level some of them have worked in fast food before they ever got to college. They worked at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Burger King, right? It's a great organization. And they believe, let's let the students be those that are in charge of the coffee shop.
Look at that.
Yes.
For students, by students. I love this.
It is great, right? In terms of their perspective we're going to give you real management experience while you're in college, studying business, studying entrepreneurship, studying marketing, whatever, finance, whatever it is that your major is. We're going to relate it to the work that has to happen in running a coffee shop on campus.
Let me tell you.
It's awesome.
That is amazing. And that's a part that kind of, and sorry that this is a long way around, Robin. I don't know why I'm apologizing. We've been doing this show for how long?
It's our show. You take whatever path you want.
I'm gonna go all the way to the left. I'm gonna bring it back to the right. I'm gonna go under the bridge.
To the left. Is that what you're gonna do?
Everything you have in a box to the left. In my closet. That's your stuff. Your stuff. No, but right now, we started a small business. I said I was going to save this for the show, the Platinum Scoops. Let me tell you something. We started how many months ago? And it's been interesting. We waited for Todd to get out of school. Going and marketing, building the SEO. I was like, this is really hard, Todd. This is really hard. Yesterday, got a phone call. Somebody said, their Poop Scoop company canceled. They went online and they found us. And I was running circles in celebration at our house because
you should.
It is so difficult in order to find people organically because there's 10 people. If you don't know why some of these things are happening in your organizations, is you have your competitors who are there's so many. When you do a regular Google search, especially now with partnering with AI, you get so much more noise than we've ever had before. It's been so distracting that it's hard for people to get opportunities, especially students. So that's why this Saxby's, not the chicken tender place,
That's right.
is so great of getting opportunities and giving people an in. And what's unfortunate is that people may not know about this program. That's a true leadership program. And we have to be more definite and more clear of the expectations and what it takes to be a leader running. And it's definitely not tenureship.
Well, and again, the premise of the show today is the how to build HR teams, right? That are good for the business. Part of the how is you have to know the business. So silly.
You have to know business.
I mean, your
before you even know the business.
And how many? Listen, I'm going to say truth for me in the sense of my background. I was an English major undergrad, and I was already working in personnel, right? I started actually in personnel my freshman year of college. So I was doing the work while I was studying the work, right? But I was studying English because I felt like communication was the right path to go for the work that I was going to do. And I don't disagree with that. But my point to you in saying that is, how many business classes did I have that really helped me with business? I got to tell you, not too many. The help in business was actually working. I worked all through college, and being exposed to that while in my education phase, it was like a dual learning, right? I was doing book knowledge basically during the day, and then other knowledge in the afternoons and evenings, right? When it comes to the business, not everybody gets exposed to that concurrently. And so you're right. Like, how do I know HR people that are still unsure of financials, and they don't want to now say to their finance colleague, will you sit with me and go through the P&L? Like, we got to do it.
That's why, one of the things, and I don't know if Rachel Couples, aka LinkedIn, the original OG,
the OG
user,
yes.
One of the things that I did with my team is that we would go Friday. We had our team all hands, and then once a month we had the board report. And I would go over the board report again with my team over each number for them to know what it is, because I didn't want anybody feeling like they had to come to me or feel any kind of way about the numbers. They needed to know what the numbers were, what they meant, so that they can make their own determination what was good for them, because we were very transparent when I was at Textia. And it's amazing how many people have worked at organizations for all these years. They can't read a P&L. They have no idea what, a SaaS company, and they don't know what recurring revenue is. Like, there's so many that don't understand when they're in true trouble. That's why some of the people who are yelling and screaming on TikTok and LinkedIn about, oh my God, there were layoffs, or I had this or I had that. And you can go look at the numbers. They're public numbers.
It is, and to that end, there's so many resources, unlike ever, that you can go online and watch YouTube courses on just what you talked about, like reading a P&L and recurring revenue, ARR, MRR.
At this point, it's chosen ignorance.
Yeah. Ooh.
Put
I'm
that
getting applied tenure. You're getting chosen ignorance.
Right. And you know what's really interesting? One of the things that I always talk about is that I did not go to college. It's a maybe it'll be a mini series.
School of Hard Knocks.
I went to the streets. So, but a woman.
Hence the website. You went to the streets.
And it was really hard. But one of the things that was 1 foot.
Oh,
so really hard, tough. I got strong feet. One of the things that was interesting, and I hope that she's watching, I got a note this week from a woman who in their master's program had to choose someone to follow on LinkedIn and follow their career. And she reached out to me and she goes, I chose you. I've been following you. I would love to have a conversation. And it's because it's not practical if you're not looking at real people doing this work and looking at how these things are moving forward.
Yeah.
You know.
Here's what I would love, by the way, in the chat for everybody who's watching, because we know some of the folks that are here watching today. Thank you so much. But like, what would you say the first job that really taught you business? Right. And that could have been while you were in high school. It could have been college or after. But like, what was the first job that you had and for whom that really started to teach you business? Nikki, I know you have a story. George, you have a story, right? Joe has stories. But like, Sean, I don't know if you're watching today. Rachel, like what was the first job that you had? Hillary, good morning. What was the first job you had that you would say really started to teach you business? And I think that's such a great conversation to have with those that are on your HR team right now. Don't start by saying, I have everyone who's terrible. I have to start from scratch. That may be true.
I always say that's all junior managers have started and said, we just need to fire everybody.
Yes.
And then your senior manager goes, we're not going to do that. Go back.
We are not.
Come back when you have a different, okay, that'll be plan B. Come back.
Look at Evan. I just want to make sure. Look at always. You. I mean,
that's
right?
awkward.
That's JackieClayton.com. $99 a month. I would say honestly, the idea of starting over every time you think things are tough is not realistic. Right. Like it can't be. You can't keep saying, because at some point, probably after the second time, the eyes are not going to go to the team. They're going to go to you as the leader to say, really? Again, you want to start over? Right.
That's what people don't understand. When people hire managers, we're hiring you. We have the team to manage the existing team with what you have. Can you do? And guess what? It's not going to be the same for everyone. It is trying to act in a way to get the best of everyone and be able to help them reach their goals.
Yes.
In some organizations, they make it very difficult to do that because your goals are so out of the norm without managing. But then that means that you're not necessarily good at managing expectations. I mean, there are reasons for that, and that manifests itself in being not necessarily good to your team.
I'm Joe. I'm going to start with Joe because I see people are starting to put answers in. Joe, we love you. Thank you. Joe working at Nordstrom's in the 80s, customer service.
They had to do tires.
I mean, y'all,
they had to hold babies.
If you've never worked in retail or like fast food, like restaurant, I'm telling you, that's an education. I wish
Nordstrom literally is like the plaza.
Yes, it's like concierge way up there for customer service. And this idea of anticipating the needs of your customers. Okay, well, now you're in the HR team, on the HR team. What is that? How do I take that lesson and apply it to what I'm doing? Well, your customers, and I know we hate these words and language sometimes, but your customers are your teams, are your colleagues, are employees. How are you being thoughtful to anticipate the needs of your customers? If you keep that in mind, I think your business leadership is going to look to say, look at what's happened to our retention in terms of improvement, our engagement in terms of improvement, our productivity in terms of improvement, all the things, because we are trying to be thoughtful about resources that our teams, our customers will need. I love that.
That's right. I mean, I will tell you, I would love to hear your story. I want to hear where you felt like you learned business. I want to know what was that experience like and what organization.
By the way, this is Hillary. I know she put it under the
she did.
Humoriso account, but worked at Zara, full control of my P&L for my store. Woo! That's a lesson, by the way.
Getting into those Zara pants, that was a lesson. Very snug. How you getting them jeans at Zara? Teach me that.
It's a whole lesson. P&L.
7 brew.
7 brews. Woo, little Bailey's in there. I think for me, from an HR team standpoint, when I was at Chili's, I would say that was a really, I think my previous HR personnel work was much more established in much more of an established environment. Chili's was in this massive growth phase, opening restaurants all over the country, born out of Texas and then just exploded. And you had franchisors who were buying large sections of the US to own, basically, to use the Chili's brand and like grow it across, the region that they purchased from corporate. And so this idea of common approach and repeatable workflows, of uniform policy, but also sort of customized to the communities that they were serving. They did a lot back in the day. We did a lot of like chili cook-offs, in Dallas or in Chicago, and it was to sort of represent what was happening there. So you had this like personalization that you had to be think about as well. So the team kind of coming into these environments, when I had to open up a store, and again, contextually, because you asked, what that meant was I was there for 2 weeks, a week leading up to opening and the first week of opening. That's what it pretty much meant for me. Sometimes I was 2 weeks prior to opening, but most times it was that. And it was 20-hour days. It was 20-hour days.
Yes.
And so the hard work, like, it was great because it was just, you were busy the entire time. There was no.
And it wasn't, and as cute as it was back in, you weren't not working.
Oh no, ever. I
think that was,
when you sat with people and did, you sat with people and did the things, like when you're opening a store, guess what's arriving? Pallets of dishes and silverware. So you're unpacking them with everybody else. Like, we're all in this together. And I loved that perspective from the business, because people really got to see like everything was being unpacked. And so you're like, how much, you saw packing slips with pricing sometimes, and you're like, yeah, there's a real cost here.
I will tell you. Oh, I'm looking at George.
Love this. I'm so glad he's sharing this. Love this.
Being able, looking at that, of doing that.
My gosh, George,
is amazing. Right? Like,
watching my mom launch her bridal shop, grow it, help with things like dyeing shoes at night to fulfill orders, going with her on buying trips to designers, watching my dad build the fitting rooms, being 12 to 14 years old and tagging along. I hated it and now realize how much I got out of it. George, thank you. It's true.
I will tell you, and I didn't think about it until you started talking about Chili's. It was really, I got my first corporate job later, but it's like right up the street. I worked at Sonny Bryan's Smokehouse. And the thing that was interesting was my college bestie's sister was dating a manager of Sonny Bryan's Smokehouse. And it hadn't opened yet, right? And they had to get an opening crew, right? And she was my roommate. So I would hang out, and the district managers and the super managers would come out to have cocktails at my apartment and talk about what was going on during the day.
Oh.
So they gave me like a lead role, even though I never had a job. Well, my first job was like at Subway, right? But I would work with them, eat fresh. I would work with them and then party with them and then hear the things and then start the next morning. And I had a level of responsibility just because I knew what was going on.
Yes.
And it made me, I have not relaxed since. I have been stressed out. I have been stressed out every day since. We have to make our numbers. What number? I don't know, but we need to. Just having that knowledge and understanding.
And the how of like, there's for both of us, there's the word exposure. Like, you're exposed to various aspects of the
organization. Exposed. Like,
yes.
But it always came from, I don't care if it was then or now, who you know. that will give you the opportunity. If you don't have a mentor at your organization and people are not showing, like, reach out to them. If they can't, look for another opportunity where you can have that, because it makes all the difference in the world. The other part that's been interesting in building the Platinum Scoops, I was telling Todd, I was like, I'll do the online stuff. You have to go out there. We got a new customer, like, in the parking lot of a veterinary office. Todd's like, that's a beautiful dog. Like, what's going? All of a sudden, he signs us up and he has these offices.
Love it.
He wants us, like, and he didn't get, and because it's so much of who reaching out, but being able to see what's going on with your eyes and making those asks and doing those kinds of things. That's why so many, even though I'm not a return to worker like champion, but it makes such a big difference.
It does. It does.
It just does. I mean, I'm just talking at 52. Don't get,
I mean, but it's sometimes it's easier for us, being in our 50s to be like,
oh, I could so many years, 40 years.
That's right. That's right. And I think that it's a great point, because sometimes in the way in which we need to build teams is to bring people together, right? Because there is something nuanced. Neither of us are saying that means everybody has to return to office. That's not what we're saying. But you still can get together with people, and
it makes a difference.
Yes, it makes a big difference. And the idea of trying to be relational might mean sometime physically together, because there's a nuance that'll just happen organically that might be more difficult to do like this. You and I, when people watch this show, I mean, we've known each other. We've spent time together in person. Like, it's when we first started, it wasn't like we were like, oh, nice to meet you, let's do a show, right? Like, there's history there. Like, and I think that when you're building teams, sometimes we think, well, I've just hired this person. They can get acclimated to our policies, but they ought to be able to jump right in relationally with everybody and do the thing. I don't know that that's always true.
I don't know that it's always true. And we are very far from teaching AI how to understand what the next right step is.
And if AI is basing it off of what they observe, they're going to continue a bad pattern because it's based on input. So if it's set up incorrectly, AI is just going to continue.
Understand it's learning from you. What people need to know is that AI is still in the stages of learning from you. And if you don't make mistakes, awesome. But if you do, then we just not ready.
By watching you.
Retro.
By watching you.
Oh my God, what was that? That old commercial when they was smoking pot. Who taught you to smoke marijuana?
You are right.
You, Dad.
You are right. I learned it by watching you. I tried out for that one. I didn't get picked.
Absolute horror. The after school special.
After school specials. I'm telling you, watch The Wave, everybody. Watch The Wave. You'll have PTSD for the rest of your life.
For the rest of you. That's why it's hard coming back to your childhood home. All my trouble.
The china cabinet behind you. I love it.
Isn't it great?
I love it.
Well, let me show you something that's really kind of funny. I hope I don't.
Oh my gosh. And the like super industrial magnets that hold the doors closed. I mean,
it's my mom's baby picture. Can you see it?
Gosh, yes. Oh my gosh.
I know. It's adorable.
That's super adorable.
It's like, it was always my favorite. My mom and dad's wedding pictures. They're like top of their cake. My mother's china. Let me tell you, me and my sister will be wrestling for my mother's china. We will be wrestling.
She doesn't need it. That china is not designed for vegan.
It's not. I'll remember to tell her that. It's not made. It's made for meat. It's made for meat.
I should say, and I know that I'm giving you grief about what's behind you, but Evan brought it up too. I have sloths behind
That's
me,
right.
and sloths are the what is this person? Why is he involved with this show?
I love Jamie so much because, we have such a hard time being loose on the show. We need
The sloth is the mascot for ERIN. Look at this sloth mark. I mean, there's sloths everywhere in this office, everywhere. But that's their mascot. So if you here's a QR code that you can for referrals, and please say John Baldino sent you. I get 10% of everything.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It is like, it's interesting, the culture. Now, why is the sloth the mascot? That is a very interesting choice.
It's slow moving. I mean, part of it is you have to meet Mike Staffy. He's kind of very similar to the sloth. So if you know Mike,
I love him.
So it's interesting because here's the other side of this business know-how that we're talking about. If you're an organization that's under 50 employees, which there are tons of businesses that are under 50 employees, how do you build HR to help the business? Well, you're not going to have typically, although you and I have run into a few where it's 50 employees and they have 7 people in HR and you're like, wait, what?
Right. Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. I would say to you, okay, so what do? I don't have a team for HR with a 45 person organization. It doesn't mean though that you still can't find the right kind of resource, even fractionally, part-time, outsourced, to help with the person who may be in-house, does have that responsibility, who's a department of one, or who is a half department of one because they have half responsibility to do something else like finance or something. Okay. There's still ways that you can bring sort of this dynamism to that organization because you still have 44 other people that need to understand how HR can be supportive, how it's helping to push the business forward through employee considerate objectives. Those kinds of things can still happen, whether it's 450,000 employees or 45. That is like the loudest notification bell.
Right. And I'm laughing because the only notification that goes through are my children and my husband.
Who know that we're on the show. Listen, I'm fighting the same fight. Kathy's texting me the whole time that we are chatting here. They don't care about us.
No. And my son, I apparently, it's the video.
I mean, I love him.
So we've been filming every time we do a job and talk about it. And I was like, TJ's he's not going to do it. We can't get him to do it. And I was like, he's not going to wear the shirt. Like we were just like, but he did.
Going to bring in tons of business. And Joe has just leveled up. I just want to be really clear about that. Joe has leveled up.
He has fully.
I'm starting to feel some sort of way about Joe liking Jamie more than me. Now I don't like it.
I mean, but have you met yourself? I mean, really? Like, have you done any work? I mean, I tolerate you, but I mean, you've met Todd. I mean,
for you, I know we talked about experience, right? That started to teach you business. Have you ever been? I don't want to say that. Like, let me ask it differently. Which experience would you say for you has been the healthiest TA HR team that you've been a part of? Is there one that comes to mind?
No. I mean, healthy that I was under? No, because I started in agency and I worked at Robert Half, and we know that's not a healthy work environment. It's just not. None of the agencies are healthy in work environments just because of the pressure. If you're looking at like work-life balance, getting a recognition, proper promotions. No, there's no agency that does that very well. Until there was an agency I worked for that used to be called Tech Partners. And what was so interesting, it was like the top two at K-Force, the top two at the other ones, that we all came together and formed an organization. That was healthy, where it was just, but we all had already got bit by that bug. I think where I learned about what has stayed with me, and something that I worked with that stayed with me through my whole business career. Belvery Ross, and she might be watching, was my first boss. The thing that was really interesting is she's the one who hired me as a business analyst. And she was a director of IT. This is back in the 90s. And she's like 4'11" Black woman. And I remember she would like make sure everybody's sitting down when I walk in the room. I'm like, okay. I was like, Belvery's going to come. Well, let's all sit down. And she would walk in always 1 minute late. And she would always slam her stuff down on the table. And I was like, why are you doing that? And she goes, because if I don't, someone's going to call me cute, and I'm not cute. And I was like,
wow.
Every time. And she always wore business suits. And she would come up to me and say, and she was like such a mentor still to this day. She was like,
oh my gosh.
She would come to me and say, we need to implement exchange mail, and I need you to train a class on the full organization of 1,500 employees, how to use email. I was like, well, how can I do that? I've never used email. And she's going to be like, figure it out.
People will not know what you're talking about. There are people watching who are like, how to use email? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Because we had interoffice. I told somebody, they were crying about interoffice mail.
I just saw that envelope somewhere.
I was like, no, interoffice. And they were like, well, what if they lived up the street? I was like, well, then you had to wait. Like, it went into a van. It got driven up the street. Interoffice, for a lot of us, when you had multiple offices in a metroplex, one was downtown, one was uptown.
We had couriers.
Yeah, we had couriers. If you had to get it signed that day.
Yes.
You know, and that's like.
We had couriers. So we had to have them bike through the city to go from one side in Philly, one side to the other, to bring legal documents that had to be executed.
It had to be signed, and it would have that sticker, sign here, because the person wasn't able to actually read their name. Like, you still see the stickers, sign here. Just
I know, I do. But now they're electronic.
It's electronic, and some aren't. Some aren't.
It's true.
But let me tell you, but they're not driven up the street, putting that.
They are not.
Where you had to sign where the office came from and where it went to. I had that green and white paper.
I had that dot matrix. Yes, Mark, pulling that green and white paper.
But I will tell you, it's been a really, especially for all of us Gen Xers, it's been a very interesting time, because we are at a different, I'm sure every generation has this, but as we progress technology, like, to think of, like, if you go look at JackieClayton.com for real, and if you go look at PlatinumScoops.com for real, able to build those sites myself is a miracle.
Yeah. Yes.
An absolute miracle. Now, they still
how much we used to spend for websites.
Remember? And I'm mad about spending $100 to have to build these out. And it's like, wait, no, those are like 5,000, 3,000. The database is there. Yes. All of the security is there.
People can't believe it. Thousands we would spend on the website.
And thousands. I mean, and so it's like, what do we do with it? That was the funny. I was working on a project, and I ended up stopping it because it was all helping organizations with their AI. And then I could not prove the source of who was teaching me to build these tools out. Then I was like, how relevant is this tool if I cannot explain?
And that, you are so good. That, I think, is the other word when we talk about building teams, is relevance. That's
right.
The problem of HR is that we can start really well. We build something quite robust. We have a lot of interaction and engagement, and business is happy, and we get comfortable, and relevance goes away.
Because AI has pulled the curtain. All you gatekeepers have been revealed, right?
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Right. Totally Wizard of Oz. What? Nothing to see here. It's very complex.
I know, Joe. I mean, here's Monster. career builder.
Be the relevant. They could never catch up.
I mean, and it's also who is in the movement to make these decisions. I often, still come back to the Blockbuster examples. Those when Redbox came to them to say, do you want to partner with us? Do you want to? And they were like, no, and they missed that part, and then they missed out on Netflix.
That's right.
They had an opportunity there as well, and it's like we've got to. It's not that we're trying to really the skill set. We don't have enough time, but the skill set is what is the difference between relevant and trendy. That's really difficult.
That is difficult. That is a good baby. Okay, we need to make that the show.
Ooh.
Because I don't know
about next week we just everybody bring a pack of Pall Malls with you and we'll do relevance.
I'll get it at the pool hall. Give me some quarters. What is it? Like
Marlboro Reds, baby. Come on. Marlboro Reds.
Tell you, when I started smoking cigarettes, they were $1.60 a pack.
Do you see what they are? My sister smokes, and I'm like, girl, you could retire if you say that. It's so expensive to buy a pack of cigarettes. It's shocking.
Yes.
And how much have you paid for your cigarettes? I know my parents used to. My mom does. They quit years ago, but my mom does not smoke. But they used to get cartons right at like Price Club or those kinds of places because that was the cheapest place to get them and get cartons of cigarettes. And I remember like you could buy one for like bring a $20 bill with you and get change. No more.
We were watching Waiting to Exhale and with my girlfriends, and one of our girlfriends, like she's like 37, and she was like, why are they doing that? Why is everybody doing that? Why are they talking? We're like, it was the 90s.
Yes.
It's amazing how much you can evolve.
Yes.
Right? Yet you actually can evolve if you're open to listening. Once people start getting true with themselves.
HR has to constantly have a relevance check and balance it with just continuing to change for change's sake, to feel like you're relevant. That becomes trendy then. So like that's part of the dynamic that I think we don't, that's a critical thinking.
We should talk about that. Like, at this point, we should talk about that.
I love that. We can do that. We could talk about that next week. Y'all, again, fastest hour in show business.
It is the fastest hour.
If you are, just as we're wrapping up, if you are in transition, please make sure that you're sharing in the chat your LinkedIn profile, what you're looking for, because people are going to watch after the fact. 2, if you are watching this later, please continue to put in those jobs that really taught you business. Like everybody is reading this thread days after the show ends. So,
and in whatever place you put it, of course, the main channel being LinkedIn, but if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, put it there too.
Comment. Yes, 100%. Dave D'Angelo, I want to make sure I say this. Dave D'Angelo this morning on LinkedIn, even if you're not following him, he posted, I think, 10 jobs that are hybrid and remote right now at senior levels that are open. So for those of you in transition who want to take a peek, look up Dave on LinkedIn and read that post. There might be something there of interest for you.
You know what? I missed you. It seems like it's been so long.
But it hasn't really. We just saw each other. It's because
we went like the road show for so
long.
When
will I see you again? Ooh,
we used to see each other once a year, and now it'll be like 8 times.
And it'll be much. Actually, I think it's too much. But
it is quite a lot. It is like unnecessary. But we will see all of you next week.
I mean, Jamie, you're fired.
Bye.